لله الحمد لله نحمده واستعينه واستهديه واستغفره وأؤمن به جل وعلا ولا أكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. And this way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Alhamdulillah, we've been having some visits and programs recently, going down to visit with our brothers and sisters downtown, and so far we've been having a good time. Every time we go down there, we run into something new. When you have a history of this type of thing, you run into something new all the time. Before I get to that, I wanted to go over a few points. We have a few calls and a few discussions from time to time, and one of the things is about something I said the other day about children, ex-wife, and others. One of the things that the system tries to do to you is make you feel like if you, first of all, they're going to try to cut you off and try to make you feel all alone. Then if they make you feel all alone and you go for it, then they have their team. All of their team is together. They're on the same team, all of them. And if they all saying one thing and you saying another, you may doubt yourself. In fact, I put it this way: most people doubt themselves. If y'all remember the old, I discussed, went to a Black History class when I was in the federal penitentiary up on McNeil Island. The guy had a blackboard and he was showing us an experiment. He said, now, I'm going to ask one of the people in here to go into the bathroom over there. One of the brothers raised his hand. He was one of the slickest Negro up there, or the wealthiest Negro in Seattle. So he was no dummy. So he went in the bathroom and he told us in a quiet voice, he said, he drew 4 lines on the blackboard. He said, now, of course, one was the longest and one was the shortest other than, he said, now, this line, no matter what you say or how you say it, when he comes out, everybody look at this blackboard and say, that's the longest line, the shortest one. And so they Negroes, they said, oh, that line is wider and it's red and it's green and it flashes colors. So it don't make no difference. You say that shortest line is the longest. Then after they went around the room, they asked the brother, which line is the longest? He said, that one. That's the longest. You know why? Everybody else said it was. It don't matter how slick you are, how smart you are. Now, I already knew who I was, and I left the country before that, years before that, and everybody was telling me one thing, and I said, the way I analyzed it, I was leaving, and I left. I told quite a few people, so I knew the police knew I was leaving. The point is that peer group pressure, if everybody is saying one thing and you saying another, it's easy to get pushed around and buffaloed by the crowd. That's not been my problem. One of the greatest assets in coming up was growing up in the youth authority and the police raising, state raise, they used to call it. And I always went to isolation, segregation, adjustment center. I always went to the hole, in other words. And I always went by myself. So when they force me to be by myself, they're putting me on my strongest side, because that's the most developed. By myself, you by yourself. When you get by yourself, when you're in that hole all the time, and you're always by yourself, and they may be dishing out different punishments and all that stuff, and you learn who you are. You get a feeling of who you are. This is who I am, because I'm going to spend a lot of my life in here by myself. All the people out there, they walking on the yard, laughing, talking, turning flips. It don't have nothing to do with me in here. And the reason I would go to the hole all the time was because I was always challenging the system. I was always challenging the system. That was one of the main things that I always did. The other thing I want to talk about is dear children. Because, let's see, if y'all remember the other day, let me see if I could find some. I had well, I'll start here. This is talking about policy of kindness, compassion, help them move from informer, saboteur to liberator. And I'd have down here Malcolm, mouth-to-mouth breathing. The police that was giving him mouth-to-mouth breathing, he probably was choking him, you know. Okay. But I have it right here. No natural killer instinct. This is what I'm writing to myself. I don't have that. Therefore, I'm not going to use it, because I know myself. I'm not going to use what's unnatural for me, because then I'll be off balance and I'll be, you know what I mean? So no natural killer instinct, not a weakness. It's a strength. Value people more than your goal. In other words, this is all stuff I'm writing to myself. And this is a while back. This is probably 2003 or something like that. I'm sure it is, because I can tell what page it comes from. One of the pages was soaked and it got wet, and that's why all this stuff shows back through there. The other thing is design fitna. This is from like 2011. Design fitna. That's fitna that you design. Fitna that you're dealing with. Here's another one. This is a withdrawal from a Bank of America account, $17,908, and it has Mukhtar took this out of one of our accounts. It's another one for $11,000, more than that. But it has our address right here, 4475 C Street. So not only has he lied, but he didn't put the wrong address. Anyway, order of battle, 10% rule. Order of battle, 10% rule means that when we get $100,000, it'll be easy to get to $1 million. Because if you got a dream of having $1 million and you don't have nothing, it's a dream. It's way off. You can't taste it or nothing. But once you get, I call it 10% rule. When we have any project and we get 10% of where we're headed, I feel like we're almost home. We just got to run around the block a couple of more times, knock down a few things. Why? Because 10% rule has always been a personal characteristic of mine. See, we was working toward $1 million for Imam Jamil, right, to get him out of prison, to do whatever we had to do. When we got to 100,000, that's when they took all the money out of our account. That's when they did all that stuff. We got 100,000 now, okay? And so don't worry about it. We'll get all of that back, and it don't make no difference. It don't make no difference. When we gave the talk the other day about contentment, that means we're all right. Like right now, we good, we fine. So technically, it don't make no difference what they do, what they say, where they're coming from. It just don't make us no difference. We have our own platform, we have our own program, and we're not letting anybody divert us. Here's the thing says Oakland Imam calls for Muslims to ignore Pastor Terry Jones. Pastor Terry Jones is the one down there in Florida that was talking about burning Qurans and all of that. Yeah, that's him. And he had about 15, 20 people in his church. And all the Muslims was burning up mad. I said, Imam of Oakland calls for Muslims to ignore Pastor Terry Jones. Ignore that fool. Don't let nobody get in your business. Do not let nobody make you do nothing. You see what I mean? Don't let nobody get you off your square, no matter what it is. Because you do not want, where's some of the other? Okay, you do not want people to, well, I learned this from Shaping and Hurting. Shaping and hurting is when the government do one thing to you, then you do a little other thing over there. Pretty soon they shaped your behavior. Well, in the old days, they was able to shape our behavior a little bit. They give you a case, so they move you over here a little. They give you another case, you move over that way a little. After a while, pretty soon, they have shaped your behavior. And hurting is they have sent you down the path they want you to go down. So we've been very aware of all of those type of things. Now we have a long history of life in America. This picture up here, that's some of the white folks at, here's another one. And that's my son. There you go, just to look at them, just to see. Yeah, those are pictures of, mainly I want you to look at the pictures of the white folks up there. You can see they're hippies. They're hippies. That's Sadie Hawkins Day, 1967, I'm sure. Okay, now all the other, there's no other blacks from East Oakland would ever attend those type of things. They just didn't. I attended them from time to time. So when I talk about Haight-Ashbury, the great hippie experiment, I know what I'm talking about. I was there. Everything that I'm telling you about, I'm talking about today and in the past, I have experienced those things. And also growing up in America. I know I say a lot of things that make people feel uncomfortable, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to those things in just a minute. Shoot, I have a letter here from Iqbal B. Yunus, Acting General Secretary of WHO, Islamic Society of North America. This is from ICNA. Of course, it's 1985, but in those days we was all running together. So this one is a skeptical Islamist. This is about me. This is Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's son, Iqbal Siddiqui. He wrote a letter about me, an article, because this is in Europe, because I was banned in Europe. Yeah, I was banned, that I couldn't go to England anymore. So he's writing at a conference. He was talking about all the conferences that I had attended over there. I want to read a few things about, and everything else will make sense. Occupy Wall Street. Protesters make love as well as class war. So, camp infiltrated by partygoers and homeless looking for sex, drugs, and food. It's about Occupy Wall Street. Attacks and infiltration against the occupation movement. Attacks and infiltration against Occupation Wall Street, right? Occupation and infiltration. Questions regarding 15th of October. I don't know whether this is wrong going or wrong something or that. Is this website an attempt to infiltrate, control, and pacify spontaneous Wall Street occupations now being implemented globally? This is a program, and people are saying, is this program a global program that they want to infiltrate, control, and pacify spontaneous Wall Street occupations? Think about yesterday. Control, manipulation, pacify. Where the people are pacified. The people are pacified. Ain't nothing going on in the movement, that movement. Did we expect that? Of course we did. All of this stuff, we've been doing this stuff so long that it's second nature. That's what we're working toward. Okay. Who we are, Occupy Wall Street, Help Occupy, Liberty Square. Successful people should be prepared for police infiltrators and innocence of violence. They should be Wall Street people. This is from Occupy Wall Street. They should be prepared. This is that they're doing on their net stuff. So they're saying you should be prepared. I didn't find the other one I was looking for. Have a picture of a police in uniform with a helmet on. Then they have him on a bicycle with short pants on, sitting with the demonstrators. Yeah, I'll find it at another time. Help Occupy Wall Street, Liberty Square, from New York. I don't know if so our users, the true organizers of the event, can make an occupation of Wall Street successful. People should be prepared for police infiltrators and incitement to violence. They didn't got the game. But they're telling everybody now, those people down there, remember when those young people walked by with the black t-shirts? Just think about it. Okay, 5 or 6 of them. They walked on by, just after the music started, and then they walked on up and they stopped. They was within our camera. I'm sure our camera picked them up. They had our back turned to us and they was talking. Okay. Now, average, if there's somebody speaking like us, and they know we've been there many times, somebody, if it was a real mood, they'd stop. Somebody would say, "Hey, bro, what y'all about? We seen y'all down here, man, the last few days. What's your ideas about this?" Right? They would do that. If they were genuine, they didn't do that at all. In fact, they had a mad look on their face that we was out there talking. Right? Okay. They didn't know. They had a mad look on their face. But why would they do that? We're just out there talking. When they do that, I'm not saying they the police, but they have police behavior. We said it all along. Those demonstrations, the way they're being carried on, they go Hollywood them, run them around the yard a few times, and then cut it off, and it'll drop dead. And then they'll come in with their full program. They was mismanaging it at first. They came in and they had people down in Florida and other places jumping up on cars, setting them on fire. And then the families came in and said, "We don't want any violence associated with us." The people in Atlanta said it, and the people up in Minnesota said it. So they had to cool it for a few days. If you remember the pattern, after a few days they cooled it. Oh, it's nonviolent, this, that, and other. And forget about Don walking across to the church and making the generals walk up and down with him, and he's talking all that trash. You know, we'll get back to Don in a minute. We ain't gonna let him go today. Police agent provocateurs documented at Wall Street. Yeah, police agent provocateurs infiltrated Occupy Wall Street. Constitutional rights and ordered property be returned to the site of occupation. In other words, evidently the court or something ordered the people's stuff to be brought back to them. Attacks and infiltration against occupation movement. Okay, so occupiers are doing a great service to America, but they need a look at what they need to look at within their midst for police provocateurs and criminals taking advantage. This is what they're saying. To fight the situation, police are infiltrating the movement and dressing as occupiers, so are well-paid tools of the upper class that are starting violence and what have you. This is common. Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, linked to CARE, anti-American, something. But down here, it has Occupy Wall Street. New York, trying to infiltrate Wall Street, protests to trying to infiltrate Wall Street, doing anything possible to keep Occupy Wall Street from succeeding. This one up here may be the one I was looking at. Okay, Wall Street protesters, CARE, Friday prayer, Occupy Wall Street. We Sheikh Qaddafi, that ain't right. Anyway, the one in Dallas. Does anybody ever hear about the one in Dallas? Dallas is the one where they open up the county jails. They let out pedophiles, perverts, and everybody. Huh? Yeah. Of course it did. They let all the rapists out of jail. See, I wanted to say all these things so that you would get an idea that when I say that's the police, that's the police, that's the police, you won't be shocked. You know, I told one friend, this is the Imam Yassin Abu Bakr from down in Trinidad. You ever heard of him? His son got killed he was at Howard. They had a coup down there in 1991, something like that.
Talk about it. Like when you listen to POW
Uh-huh.
and when the Jamaican hour comes on,
Right.
and they have news,
Right.
he's still down there doing whatever he's doing.
Well, see, they put him in prison. That's the other regime, the bad guys. But you know, down there, they have different teams. So if you go to penitentiary, on the other guy's team, when your team come, they come on out of there, right? That's how he got out of prison. The first old foreign minister was against them, and they was killing them. The reason I have his picture, this is from a program back in the 80s. He's up here. Imam Musa, I want you to help me get some guns and stuff. I said, hold it. So I said, hey, come over here. I told him Imam Jamil, he went down to Atlanta with the same thing. And so I was talking to Imam Jamil. He said, man, homeboy came through talking about just talking. Yeah, now I'm going to do this down there, and I need some guns. So he must have, as smart as he was, as tough as he was, he didn't know the simple stuff like a COINTEL program. So I pulled him to the side. I said, look here. And I showed him these Negroes here. All these Negroes got turbans, old black-looking niggas. And then there's an Iranian right over there. Let me explain what's going on here. The Iranian is there, because Abu Bakr asked me, he said, man, how come they send Imam's representative over here? You know, Imam Khomeini's representative. What they're supposed to do is collect us together. We have either a leader or a committee, and they're going to hook us up. They're going to fund us to the max. So this is at the same conference, Abu Bakr. He said, yeah, I see you with your homeboys over there. Y'all working the thing. I'll be at the meeting tomorrow. I said, I'm not. Those is niggas. You ain't going to have no unity. You ain't going to have no organization. And they going to make sure Imam don't support nothing over here. I think this might have been the one, 85. I got up and left. And then I went to sleep. And they come to my room early one morning at daybreak, the Iranians, because they really liked me. They say, Imam Musa, we want you to chair the meeting. He didn't say of the Negroes. I said, man, I ain't going, no. Because whatever you say, see, if you're the leader, they just going to pick at you. Because, and then the Iranian is sitting right there. You can see, he just sitting back there. You can see what he looked like. I'm just observing. That's all I'm doing. He's way over here in the corner almost, right? He's observing. He wants to see how we work these things out. He'll report it, and then the checks aflow. So even then, I was contented. I'm good. Y'all can help. You don't have to help. It don't make me no difference. But the Negroes made sure. What I was telling Yassin Abu Bakr, I said, man, look, don't mention to nobody that you want no guns to do nothing with. I said, you just quiet it down and, you know, don't just go on and about your business. You know, that's what I was telling, just go on about your business, don't worry. Before anybody could make a move, he's down in Atlanta telling Imam Jamil, I said, well, that's it. I said, just like Pontius Pilate, hey man, you know, and that's what happened. You saw what happened. They was ready. And it misfired. That's the way the system works. It don't work any other way than that. What system we've been coming in contact with works like that. CIA funnels drugs into the poor U.S. neighborhood. That's about Ricky Ross. Me and him was on RT together a couple of times. But you know, they kept him on. They took me off. Why? Because I knew what I was talking about. And since he had a bigger name, it's like Najee had to, when he was on the radio over there. He was always running around, what was it, Black August and all of them. I just said, you know, Black August are all my homeboys. August, what's his name, was killed in August, you know, out in California. Said they had a pistol in his hair. When he's in the hole. Now, I've been in the hole in the adjustment center, so I know you can't put no pistol in no hair, because they're going to rub their hands through your hair and make you lift up your body parts and bend over. They're going to do all that. That's normal, going in and out. So the other thing I was telling them, I said, anybody you talk about the shootout in L.A., 69, Bunchy Carter and them, those are all my homeboys. We grew up together. The George Jackson, Fleet of Drungo, the Soledad brothers, I said, we grew up together. Fleet of Drungo was my workout partner. You know, like, in fact, I was from Oakland, so the Oakland crew was fine, but I technically hung out with LA brothers more than I did Oakland. And not more. They was the same, but I had a LA presence all the time for some reason. You know, maybe I always hung out with some people that was from a different place, like just to stay in the, you know, mix. Whatever it was, my workout partner, so I would tell him, well, I mean, I wasn't going to tell him I want to be on your program, because I know the people, everybody you talk about, I know them. He wouldn't put me on the program. Then they had a program on, you could turn the cool down just a pinch. So, there was one program on Colombian drug cartels and all that, and the government program. He was asking a woman, she was a standard woman from Colombia. What the hell does she know about the drug cartels just because she's from Colombia? I say, I'll be down with all of that. I know exactly, you know, how that go. Can you imagine? Everything you can talk about, from the Islamic movement, right? That crew, from, let's see who we got here. The Dar al-Islam, right? Brother Umar down here. This is Jalil. He died in Delaware, somewhere, not too long, 2 years ago maybe, something like that. Suleiman al-Hadi. Suleiman al-Hadi, that's it right there. And here we are bringing them. We brought the Sunnah to the West Coast. See, we had just left the chief, because the chief, he's a good man, but he was waving the flag. He was knocking people over with the flag. And the people in Lebanon, was that the 81 war in Lebanon, or something like that, in Lebanon, 81. The Marine barracks, yeah, the chief said we got to fight with America. Yeah, the chief said that. So I said, well, Chief, I had already left, but I was gone then, and I was actually making fun of the chief. But I got over it, you know. Let's see. From all of that to recently, Mukhtar, Tattletale, Mexican polices, my tummy's hanging out a little bit. That was before, when I come out of jail, my tummy wasn't hanging out like that because I fasted for 6 days. So forget about this. That's just, well, you know, plus I was 74. But imagine who I'm talking about from the very beginning of all that black stuff, the very beginning of it, up to, you could tell the Black Panther outfit, you know what I mean? That's even the Free Huey buttons. This is some of my homegirls. I never left the Negro girl, my home, you know, the girls you grew up with around the street. I never left them. When I got rich, I brought them right along. They used to feel like movie stars. You know, they just, the regular, you know, other niggas, they go get them high yellow, pointed nose looking women, right, and all that straight hair. I didn't. I plucked one right out of the crew. And they never, ever double-crossed the brother. Never. None of them did. Nothing. And I used to leave stuff at their houses. I wish I would have helped them out more. But I could leave like tons of stuff. Everybody was telling me, man, because I'd come down to the clubs. I'd had the car full of, you know, the Temptations, whoever was going to be in town. See, they worked during the week, but on the weekend, see, we went to the clubs for enjoyment on Wednesday and Thursday night when the singers sing and ain't nobody there, you know, or you be hanging out with them and all of that, or whatever else you do, you know, like if David Ruffin was there, you know what I mean, and his light-skinned friend. You remember what he looked like? I was telling somebody, I said, that movie David Ruffin, I said, you see that boy there? He looks exactly like, you know, the brother that used to hook up for him. I mean, we come in, anyway, that's a long story. The point is that from the very beginning, everything, there's nobody alive in the United States. Nobody. Okay, even our good friends. You know, everybody heard about, you know, what was that? Was that Joanne Chesimard? What's her name? Yeah. And, they actually took the people, we was in Algeria together. That's the only picture we got of the pen. We hooked up and that's it. They're good people. But I'm talking about from then, the East Oakland Enterprises, you know, a focus on black people having money, right? Then evolving out of that into the international struggle. You know, by the time you hit Algeria, those are frontline states, Algeria, Tanzania, and all those places. You know, you get, just like one of my friends, Dr. John Branyan. Look up Dr. John Branyan's name, Dr. John Branyan, B-R-A-N. I-O-N or O-N or something, Dr. John Branyan. That was the most educated Negro in the world. No. He was educated in Lausanne, Switzerland. You know Johnson Publications? He was of that crew. And they had a big article in Ebony about him, maybe in '83, Dr. John Branyan. He passed away, but we was in Algeria together, then we went to Tanzania together. Believe it or not, after I left, he was Idi Amin's doctor. He was Idi Amin's doctor. because Idi Amin was always trying to hook up a doctor. So I used to say, Doc. I said, man, because he could speak French. He was in Algeria, so he was at home. I said, Doc, I used to tease him sometime. I said, how do you fix your mouth to say that stuff? You remember, I'm just right off the streets. And so, did you find the name?
Not yet.
Dr. John Branyan. Dr. John Branyan. Anyway, so what happened was Dr. John Branyan was mentioned, Branyan. So he, the other thing, when we was at the Cairo Hilton. We was going to Tanzania. We had to make a stop, 3 stops. We was going to stop. 3 stops. We stopped in Sudan, going south. We stopped in Entebbe, in Uganda, and we stopped in Nairobi, Kenya. Because that was East African Airways. The first part of the flight, I think we took it on a Russian airline of all airlines, Aeroflot. It's the only airplane I ever went on that had roaches on it. No, it was Aeroflot. It was comfortable, boy, but I said, I don't believe it, that's a roach. This is a colored airline, and they got to stop this. But anyway, believe it or not, we was going to Tanzania. When we landed in Entebbe in Uganda, we saw all them guys with long muskets, real muskets, I mean, from I don't know when, from the colonial days. They was having a coup when we went through Uganda, because that's when Milton Obote went to Tanzania, and he lived in Tanzania. Huh?
Yeah, I found it.
What does it say?
Saying he was set up for killing his wife. Is that why he went in exile?
Yeah, they said he, well.
That's what they said. You know, all the mainstream stuff is saying, yeah, he killed his wife. But I found another view that was like, no, where he gets a chance to speak for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, no, no way I could have done it.
How do you spell his last name?
Branion.
Yeah, okay. See, here's the thing. I mean, we would tell Doc, I said, Doc, I didn't do it. And then they explained the scenario. I said, Doc, that sounds like a damn mystery, you know, what was the detective name there? Yeah, I said, Doc, that sounded, I said, black people, you want a cutie pie? Because he had a little cutie pie. A lady came over and visited with him. His new wife, when he was in Africa. I said, Doc, niggas don't kill their wives. I said, maybe you could beat her upside the head at worst, or leave her. Just niggas get up and leave. They don't like, yeah, I said, you don't. I said, Doc, you don't kill your wife. I mean, white folks do that stuff, man. I didn't do it. I said, so he was telling me the scenario. I forgot. I said, Doc, that sounds like a damn. That's okay. You didn't kill her. I believe you. You know, but anyway, the point I'm making is this. All of this evolution, look at it. You can see them muscles. I was buffed up, boy. But this is a swimming pool in the neighborhood change. In 1966, how many niggas was anywhere near a swimming pool? You couldn't even swim in the white folks' swimming pool in 66, right? So that means we had big. This is at one of my partner's house. You can see the Adobe there, LA. Okay, what I'm trying to say is from here to here to here, all of this stuff, from the very beginning up till now, a continuous move, right? Continuous. Okay? And all along the way, I'm dealing with the things that come up. I'm dealing with them, evidently. Okay, now, if certain things happen, like for instance, take my sons. This poor guy, he is battered up, man. He done got shot all up 6 times. But they got lucky, you know what I mean, and didn't hit no main, okay. That's my son. This actually happened, or it was made to look like it happened. It's their business. They make it look like my grandson is killed. Right? Okay, now, if we've had all these experiences, remember I showed y'all the other day that they had, with my sons, the police had, what did they do? The police had arrested them 2 days before our big program. That's what it was, right? Do you remember I showed y'all a program? It was, let's say, December the 14th, 1986. That's what it was. There was a program December 1986. And they arrested my sons. One of them was arrested the night of the 9th, and the other was arrested the night of the 10th. Because when we have the program, all the stuff that I'm going to talk about, they're witness to it, right? But they're going to be in jail, and I can't get them out. They're going to be in jail, I can't get them out, and I'm going to be there by myself, talking to a whole group of people. And it went well. I wrote on my thing, good program. But still, most of the people there are going to be government type agents. That's what they're going to be. And we've been dealing with this stuff a long time. The longer you deal with it, the better you get. I'm not going to read this open letter to the FBI who's a concern. If something happens, it has the outline of who had the ability to do it, who have a history of doing it, who would gain from doing that, right? That's what this is. This is an open letter for the FBI, you know what I mean? And we wrote this to them right after 9/11. It's an open letter to clarify certain things. Okay, so, this is it. By the way, this is Huey Newton right here. This is my name, Abdul Alim Musa, right here. So clearly, we knew each other very well, in fact. My son was in jail with Huey, and the captain come down. Where's that Huey? This is what my son was telling me. He said, Huey, him and his partner got arrested, and his friend said, that's little Hank over there. My son. He said, so Huey called him over. He said, tell your father we want to thank him for all the stuff he did for us. That's what my son told me. That's not what Huey said. Okay. We just setting up the fabricating of evidence, right? All of that type of stuff. Proactive, preemptive struggle, provoking action. Los Angeles Times, it is revealed that the creation of an organization by the Defense Secretary, Proactive Preemptive Operations Group. Its purpose is to bring together CIA and military covert action, information warfare, intelligence, and cover and deception. Right. To manufacture the terrorism that is to be combated. To manufacture the terrorism that is to be combated. Okay, why do I study this all the time? I do. I study it all the time. That's one of the reasons I didn't get married for years, because I didn't have time to devote to developing a family, right? Nor was I interested, because I was doing this. This is what I was doing. And evidently doing it pretty good. Evidently doing it pretty good. Now let's go through the 80s, all the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now we done jumped all the way. This is 2020. So that means that's a big 40-year SWAT and all this other stuff. That adds up to a solid 50, 52 years without any trouble at all. Okay. Your own business. Here's what they say. Abdul Malik, lecturer, what do they call it? Lecturer. Then they have all these people. This is Abu Mansur al-Amriki, Umar Shafiq, rapping jihad. This is the white boy. Here's rapping jihad. Of course, I don't know why they killed Anwar al-Awlaki and his son. Did he kill his daughter too? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Adam, Yahya, Gudum, Budum, somebody. This is this guy here. It's not that we knew or supposed to know all the active people, the revolutionaries. I know none of these guys. And they give them a name. Now remember, this is Southern law, poverty, whatever it is. The people will put that stuff out and they will believe them. They believe those are the people that they're talking about. Here, I'm the propagandist right here. That's why we study. You can't pay no attention to nothing those people say. You can't pay attention to anything those people say. They're building up their cadre. They're giving their people a name. Look at America right now. Just look at it just over the quick overview. From the 1960s up to 2000, there's only one person that's been involved in that whole, whatever you see on TV. The hippie movement, flower children. I was there, right? Tell the truth. Do you know any nigga that have anything with the flower children? The hippie movement? Not a one. Neither does anybody else. Because the hippies is either all dead or they done washed out with that crank and acid and everything, right? A few still alive. But I was there. I remember the songs. I remember the attitude and the hopes, their dreams. They was building a utopia right there in San Francisco. San Francisco was a nice place at that time. It was always considered progressive. And they told the people, when you go to San Francisco, that was a famous song, 1966, wear some flowers in your hair. So, whether it's the black movement, all of these people, these are friends of mine. When we had a meeting in Algeria, I told them, you're not going to have no revolution. Y'all going down to the Rue de Douche Marade every day buying hashish, you're not going to have no revolution. You know, that's what the Black Panther Party was doing in Algeria. So we had a meeting and I told them, well, because Pete O'Neill was the brother that writes me sometime. He was head of security at that time. The next time I saw him, when everybody had moved to Tanzania, not everybody, but some, he had taken over the party in 1972 from the funny acting guy, Eldridge. In fact, just a little story on the side. When we was in Dar es Salaam, I had a book on space or something that I heard. And he said, hey, I'm going to bring you a telescope tomorrow. So I looked at the I said, man, I saw that telescope before. He said, yeah, it was in Eldridge's house. I said, but why was it always pointing down? Because I know when people leave a telescope, you see it's always pointing up to the stars. I thought it was something that they did to keep all the glass flowing, and I didn't know what but I knew every telescope I ever saw was always, right, pointed up. Probably that's where they was looking, they leave it like that. He said, man, the guy's peeping Tom. He was looking in everybody's window because he lived on the side of a hill. I said, yeah, man, that poor guy was peeping in everybody's window. He was a peeping Tom. Elders was funny like that. They say don't talk about people, say bad stuff about people who's dead. Look, Eldridge got everybody, like Mukhtar talks, you got everybody killed, all of these people. Friends of mine, I'm supposed to got did y'all ever hear him say that? You got everybody killed. I said, yeah. And you told the police something, you got Imam Jamil set up there. Tell the truth. It's impossible. You know the guys around here that was affiliated with up down there. What they said. If Imam Jamil do certain things, they were not going to follow it up. Did you hear that? Okay. How the hell could what could I do? I mean, how is it possible for me to do anything to set Imam Jamil up? I mean, how, is it possible? It's not possible. The man is crazy. But we put up with that because we want, if a person is insane, let them keep showing it until people are convinced that they're crazy. Tell the truth. Did y'all hear on the phone, a loudspeaker, that he said, my father sold me into slavery? Huh? Yeah, she said, that's right. Well, you ain't never heard him say nothing. What kind of man is it that is, and we in Islam, that his wife is talking about wearing the pants, she wearing brogangs. Wearing brogangs and talking trash? Why are you functioning? So she said, yeah. Well, you could hear when I was talking to my grandnephew that kind of I got, all the history of the family on tapes and stuff. And not that I bought him Cadillacs and everything, because he had his own money, but he appreciated, that sure, this is nice. A brand new Cadillac, he liked that. It was fun. And your son get it for you? And everybody talk about him and you know what I mean? Oh, your boy, you know what I mean? My father was a gambler. And when I think about family lineage, I think about Mukhtar's name. Khadijah's mama was a dope fiend. She got buried in a casket. Boy, they had that casket in the backyard. That's the biggest casket I've ever seen. Good God Almighty. And I had said on the thing that she was a heroin addict. And so Khadijah called, my mama wasn't no heroin addict. She was a crack addict. I said, oh, excuse me. But anyway, the daddy was kind of like a wino, and I always treated him with respect, and I helped him out all the time. He'd come by almost every day. They don't care nothing about nothing like that. What kind of people would even call the police on somebody that's been associated with all of this stuff all of this time? And remember, in our paperwork, we have to get out to Oakland by such and such a time to pay what? $50,000 in their taxes, right? $48,900 something. in their taxes, right? When we would buy property out there, right, we would take money from here and put it in I don't know, 35,000 sometime, others, I bet you never saw them bring nothing out here for us. They had a bookstore just like we did, but I bought the books from Pakistan and India, and I had them sent to Oakland. They didn't even pay for the books. They got them free. Everything they got free, and they didn't have nothing. They didn't have nothing, and then they said, I'm stealing from the community. And I got a piece of paper that say, I didn't have no accounts in Clarence Reams. It was all Masjid al-Islam. So everything I got, if I got stuff from my personal property, Section 8, I put it in Masjid al-Islam. So I just showed them 2 years. This year is 2013, 2014. That come out to over $30,000, and they say, you stole 20-something thousand. I said, well, just, you can give me, if you're gonna give me change, I got, it was 22,900 something. Okay, I said, just give me 20-something, just give me $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 change. If I stole, right? Yeah, if I stole, I still got something coming because I put that much in that they could see. But remember, here all the time, imagine all the money we took in here. Imagine when I went overseas and we come back with truckloads of money, right? All that money went into the account. They benefited from that money. We helped them acquire property out there. We helped everybody. That's what we did. But anyway, let me get to the point. I want to get back to the point because that was some discussion the last few days about when I was talking about children. Okay, now the experience is this. Already I've had experience with the system and my sons, right? I've already had that experience. And now think when you're kind of young and you looking at them and you know that they got a possibility of doing stuff. And it wasn't easy. The 84, 85, 86 period, that wasn't like it is now. I was fine, but I wasn't like I am now. I was more normal, Yeah, I was more normal. More of the things that affect other people, they affected me too. But no, the same discipline, running every day, lifting weights, kind to everybody, all that's intact. But not to the shape and fashion and form it is now. If Mukhtar would have came in talking crazy then, I would have took an iron pipe and beat him to death with it. Of course I would have then, because that's what you do. You got to respect what we're doing. That type of thing. But not kindness and love and everything. After somebody that knocked the fat off, you got to remember what my head looked like. That boy was roped like oatmeal. My head was whooped up. Whether they wanted to do it so they would give the system an excuse for an operation or what have you, I don't know. All I know is in 1974, when I was at McNeil Island, in fact, I worked in the hospital. When I came in, they give you some kind of way they scheduled me to take a chest x-ray. So the doctor looked at the chest x-ray and he put that thing up there. He said, my God, have you worked in mines or? I said, no. Now I've been running, look, I'm just coming off the street all over the world. Beautiful high mountains. I'm running every day. I'm running on beaches, them long sandy beaches. You know what I mean? I'm in the water like Muhammad Ali, practicing, you know what I mean? And I knew, so what I did was, I was the captain in the Nation of Islam. The other brother was working in there. I said, hey man, that was his job, radiology. I said, hey man, when they go, I'll just take a picture of my lungs and see what this. So now, in order, the doctor said my lungs were so messed up, he did a biopsy, they call it. Took a little piece of something right up there. Okay, it's happened fast. I said, sorry, take a little, I got to look at it to see what's now. Anyway, by that time, the guy then got me in the room, gets the x-ray, put the big lead thing over me, and he holds them up. That's his job. He said, boy, them some clear lungs there. You must have the prettiest lungs in the world. That's what he said. I said, the doc showed me the thing the other day that has so spots all over, lines. He said, hey man, just like you running that yard every day, these are running the yard lungs. You ain't been doing no smoking? I said, no, of course I ain't smoking. I said, of course, years ago I smoked for a little while. Well, you done run all that out. Smoked a little weed, it ain't in there now. You done blew that all out. You know what I mean? You done blew it all out. At the same time, they had the bionic man stuff. So that's when that new stuff was coming. Now, imagine an animal, they take the animals, they run all over the world or fly everywhere, they clip a little thing on them, right? Tracking them. Now, I tested this. When I got out of prison and I ran in the hills, I got a feeling that, so I said, let me try this. So I'm running on them long. Now, you saw the mileage I was running, and I could run a little bit then. I'd zip off in the woods and zzz, and every time when I come out the woods, it was somebody like almost right where I'm at, looking all around or trying to play like they ain't looking, or you know what I mean? I said, okay, fine. I did that no less than 10 or 15 times. When I got here to D.C., when I used to run down Rock Creek, down the river, and then you can take them trails back off in there. You ever take them trails? Boy, I got back in there and I was big mule deer. I mean, with all them antlers, big heavyweight deer back there. Didn't make no difference where I went. When I came out, it was a car, a police car waiting right for me. Now, when I went to South Africa in, let's say 98 or something like that, or 99, somewhere during that period, all these rich people was doing, this is after Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui then passed away. So they're saying, well, these rich people, they always had some kind of little things going on. So they're saying, you could get your blood test and our doctor will read it for you, and then he'll come and tell you about your diet and all that, So with everybody else, they took blood tests, and he told them, don't eat this, eat a little bit of that, da-da-da-da. So I got mine, and he told me, well, don't worry about it, don't do nothing. You got it covered, whatever, So now, my view is, it didn't take long after that blood clots kicked up and stuff like that, I'm telling you, look, it don't make no difference what nobody believe. I know what happened. And that's what I go by. I don't go by what everybody else know or what I can prove to them or I got a witness. You know what I mean? I know what was happening. And I know I kicked in with blood clots and all of that stuff. And then what was the reasons for the blood clots? The blood clots had jumped off from before so I could go to the hospital. And they put a thing, you know, like right in your groin. It goes all the way up to your lung. And the doctor said, now I'm all right at that time. No more blood clots. They just gave me stuff to loosen it up. Now, you may cough. They already, in a minute, and it's just no problem. It's just when the thing go in. And I said, cough. They already had the thing. I said, niggas be a quick cough when your body is rejecting something. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, since that time, boss man could just about, you know, and then me watching them movies too with them putting stuff in people. The same thing that I was thinking they did. I don't know, wasn't even watching it, but you know where there's something going past on the screen and they doing an autopsy on a guy and they pull out a little ball or something this big, you know. And they said, well, somebody had already juiced him up. He was already, but anyway, look. Here's the thing. I've already had the experience with my sons. So I made dua, and it was a kind of short type, concise dua. But I got what I asked for, so I can't complain. So Allah keep these Negroes alive long enough for them to know, to understand what's going on. That's what I got. That's what I got. So it's fine with me. That's exactly what they know. One will be 55 soon, the other will be 52, whatever they old Negroes. But the system, after 10 or 15 years, broke them down. They're human beings. I don't blame them for nothing. You know, just because I sent my son the keys to the car out there, I got 2 cars out there, and the pink slip or whatever they call it, the owner to the other. And, you know, them nice Volvos, I only charged them $1,200. He sent me $500. And that's it. And I'm not even going to call him. This is the 3rd month. You know, I mean, I should expect that because both of them used heroin. When he was in the hospital, the doctor comes by and, you know, when you have this stuff, these operations, I didn't realize it, but they was on methadone. He was on methadone. So the doctor says, should we adjust you one something or other, you know, the dosage? He said, no, 245 or 295, one of them. Whatever it was, that's a pretty heavy dose. So he needed plenty of methadone to stop him from climbing the walls. You see what I mean? Okay, now remember, a lot of my friends they think they went bad. They didn't go bad. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am. You see what I mean? Let me explain it again. They aided and assisted. And they're standard human beings. They are not required, right? I have a mission in life. This is my mission. It's fun, everything. But they don't have, that's not their mission. So they're not required. If getting to 100 is doing the mission's job, if that ain't part of their mission and they get to 7 or 8, they done broke a record. Because they don't want to do what I do, right? They don't even want to do it. Can you imagine? They don't even want to do what I want to do. They want to do what the white man raised them to want. They don't even want to get rich outside of that way. They don't want to sell books or nothing and make 3 times as much money. They would keep that much. They don't want to do that. Because they got their mind on what their friends do. You know, that's what everybody do that. That's the only thing they want to do. Okay, they're not bad. And then the people, that's a message I'm trying to get to people right now, that I wouldn't be where I am if they had, like my friends that in 1966 that introduced me to marijuana selling. I'm going to tell them when I get out, well, one passed away the other couple of years ago. But as soon as I wrote his name down, Jesse Lee, tall guy. As soon as I wrote his name down, I was there in Oakland. I'm telling you, moved to Stockton, he come sliding through. I'm telling you, it's okay, it's no problem. Look, I know what I'm dealing with and I like it. Okay? The thing about my daughters is this. I know what their influence has been, and I was telling Tufel about this years ago, that their next move would have to be my daughters, you know. So just catch him on a good day and ask him, was Imam Musa running this down on a semi-regular basis? Sure, in the backyard, in the house. That's the next direction they're gonna come from. And I tested my daughters years ago to see where their head was at. So I had one CD, How to Get Along with Difficult People. It was a woman making it talk. I could probably find it. I still have it. And it talks about certain kind of people, you know. And the lady started right off, people that do this, that, and the first thing Sakina says is, Mom, da-da-da-da-da. The difficult people she was describing was her mother. And she responded to that. So I knew right then, okay, that's going to be a careful dealing with it. But to make a long story short, here is it. I'm happy that Sister Bahia got them acting or got them going through the school, the learning, and the whole thing. I don't want them to do what I do. I don't want them, let me explain it again. Out of my family, one is enough. I don't want nobody else in my family unless they just acquire a liking for it. But I know the numbers. If it ain't nobody else that survived all this but me, what's the damn survival rate? Right? I mean, we're just talking about movement. Y'all done seen the movement. You done heard the movement. How many people make it? How many people flip over? The Imam in Brooklyn them, and the Imam up in Rhode Island, where Connecticut, Mellow Yellow. The first meeting we have in Fermanagh, they act like they passing the leadership back and forth. Well, Imam Zaid, I'll just give you bayah. And ain't nobody said nothing to nobody else there. And guess what? I never got not one chance to talk there, just like I didn't here, except for one time. You know what I was doing? I was raising my hand. I was just following the protocol. I'd like to say, listen, you just zoop. Now, I'm not arrogant, but it ain't nobody in there that was doing nothing. And there's nobody in there that's been through nothing. There's nobody in there, let's call it game. They don't have no game. That's what we call that street life. They don't have no game. If they would, they wouldn't be stooges for people that's weaker than them. The foreigners tell them what to do. They form manna to have something for American Muslims, and the foreigners telling them what to do. And the foreigners are like, they're happy to be here, they're weaklings, and that's not bad, they're just weaklings. They make themselves weak, right? Them guys over at what's the imam over at the big show over there? The Sudanese man. Imagine. Then the other guy, the vice president, is from Bangladesh. Abdul Haq and I over there, I don't know if he told you, we passing out stuff. They said, "Oh, come on in and we'll talk about it." "Well, how much money do you really need, Imam?" Because they wanted to stop. I said, "Well, 100 will do. We'll take care of it." Ask Abdul Haq, call him up there, he would remember. Abdul Haq, he was there. I haven't seen that 100 yet, or nothing like that. I haven't seen nothing. All I saw was, I went over there for something, it was a big janaza, and when they finished, what's her name, looked up and saw me and zipped upstairs. You know, they got an elevator over there. So I come off the elevator, Pakistani guy came around, "Can I help you?" I said, "I want to see Imam Majid." "He's not here." I said, "Yeah." I just walked right around and to the office. "Oh, Imam Musa, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah." You bums pulling all of that dumb stuff. They do anything they want. They treat you like you're not a human being and not a Muslim. And our brothers get right along with them. Over there at Dar Hijra, Siraj raised $36,000 for manna. That's not a lot of money for other people, but that's enough. That's a nice little piece of change for us back in them days, over 10, maybe 15 years ago. I just want to make it clear that I have a different position than Imam Musa has. I want to bring everybody to Islam, as though I don't. I didn't say nothing to him because we was in a peace and love thing, you know. He did it, Zayd and them did, all of them. Now you got to imagine, I had got my throat cut by these guys 50 times before anything, I ever even mentioned their names. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, right? Y'all heard what he said. Soon as he said that, Muhammad Al-Asi and them, they slipping around, acting funny, you know what I mean? Like I ain't on the team no more, you know what I mean? Sending me out to Shetland somewhere to give a talk and out of the main. I said, okay, fine, it don't bother me. You know, we invite him here to sell the book. That book is the slowest selling book in the world. Tell the truth. The first volume went like hotcakes. After that, that was it. I got boxes of them out there. Boxes. Yeah. Boxes of them out there. But you're free to have a program here. They didn't have no program nowhere else. Nobody else had them have a program or let them have a program. Right? Okay, so the point I'm making is we're in the mix. I got an understanding of the things that's going on. That's why back in the 80s we did this thing. I knew I was surrounded by a boss man. I knew I was surrounded. So I said, well, just mix it up a little bit. You study Oakland and see if the structure, the organization of young Negroes improved. This is all about organization. That's his name. Comfort zones, why you do this, why you do that. Same stuff we talk here. Goal setting, organization. What is an organization? What are organizations? A hospital is an organization. A church is an organization. Da 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 da. You an organization if you become organized. What are the rules of organization? There's leadership, there's structure, there's this, that, and another. And them young Negroes, of course, I don't know how many of them became Muslim, but I mean, we just throwing stuff out there for diversion. And it worked. We've been doing that all our life, just naturally. I think Dr. As-Sabiqun mentioned, what do you call it, the random sowing method. As soon as I got back to Oakland, I said, let me take these and package them and do a little random sowing, throwing out seeds for people, right? You can't lose. One thing is, if they don't get some kind of help, they're going to rot in jail. They're going to rot in jail, right? So at least they don't know the drug war, how it started. They don't know about not killing each other. They don't know all, and then you give them all the fundamentals. At least they're going to do better, right? And a few of them, when they get out, they may appreciate, because they're going to stay out longer. And on teaching this stuff, look how many lives you save in the black community. Remember the death rate in the 80s and the 90s? Good God Almighty. It's unbelievable. It's just like, you know what I mean? It was unbelievable. And we knew that it was not their fault. They killed all the people, except me, that was on their side. They run them off. They killed them. They got rid of them, right? So they ain't got no role models. They got their daddies in jail, and everybody, and their daddies didn't know nothing, right? So they cut everything off, and they come into a non-inhospitable environment. And they don't have a chance, so I just said, let me put this out. So I'd take them everywhere I went, pass them out. If you think I'm lying, do some research for Oakland. 1980s, 1990s, in relation to San Francisco, LA, and them other cities. Just figure out what you do. LA might have 400 deaths, 500 almost. The worst year in Oakland was 62. And then the very worst, I think it was 62. It didn't never get up to 100. And Oakland and DC was about the same size. I'm telling you.
Gary.
Huh?
Detroit, Gary, DC, like 400 or 500 each.
Not in Oakland. And Oakland is known. Oakland is Oakland. Everybody knows about it. Oakland is a special city. Out of all the cities in the United States, Oakland has a special character. I'll go into it later. But this is for my dear children. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, thy Lord hath decreed that ye worship none but him, and that you be kind to parents, whether one or both of them attain to old age in thy life. Say not to them a word of contempt, nor repel them, nor address them, but address them in terms of honor. And out of kindness lower to them thy wing of humility, and say, my Lord, bestow on them mercy, even as they cherished me in childhood. This is a rule that they're going to have to adhere to. Not only is it Quranic, but personally, I think a lot of the blessings or what have you come from how you treat your parents. I do. I had a real good relationship with my father and mother. And we was at the house one day, and my two sons were saying, when we left, they said, Dad, you was standing next to granddaddy like a slave. I said, yeah, what the hell I'm supposed to do? I'm standing right there by his chair. Whatever he want, I go get it. I said, y'all gonna do the same to me. Of course, they ain't gonna do it, but that was the training. Look, I'm telling you, even the Bible, the poison book, said something about honor thy father and mother that your days be long and something or other like that, right? That's what it says. Okay. Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do what's right. First for Islam, then the movement. Now, my children, right down there, they get from me maximum love. But I am not stupid, and I'm not putting up with that dumb stuff that their mother tell them. They have them breaking the floors. You go down right now, the floor is broke in the bathroom. The water, I didn't bring the thing. I got a bill. I'll show it to you tomorrow or the next day. If I pay it soon, it'll be $700 and some dollars. Water bill, not the other. And if I wait, it's going to be $801. I'm going to pay that bill after that. I sent a little message to the thing. It says if you want a little help doing this coronavirus. Okay. They said we'll let you know in 10 days. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it off. Yeah. Or if they want it on, they could pay the bills. You know why? Because I'm going to have big buckets of water. 2 buckets. I'll take those buckets, and all the water I need, I'll come down here and get it. That's the way I do in Oakland. They ran the water bill up, and then they left it for me to pay. I haven't had no water in 2-3 years out there, and I'm not getting any water. I go right now. Like if y'all come out there to testify and you stand with me, you're going to have to go across the street with big buckets of water. You can bathe, you can do anything you want, but you're going to have to bring it just like down in the country. That's the way I do now. I live like that out there. I don't have you turn on the faucet and the water. No, if you go to the bathroom, you take the water and that's what you do. Okay, I'm glad I was born in the country. I'm very glad because I don't have I need, in order for you to have a real bath, the water has to come out of a damn spigot up there. Well, it's not a bath. No, you take a dipper. You take your stove, you want it hot, how hot you want it? That's too hot. Just put some cold, and then you got a perfect, to me, it's perfect. That's what they're going to have to do. There's a white girl come out here. She's married to an Iranian. The Iranian used to be Mr., let's call him Mid-America. Boy, he was buff. You ought to see it. He was buff. He's really, he can't hardly walk now, but he was buff then. And we used to have the best Malcolm X program I ever went to. They had it at UK, University of Kansas. Probably around 1990 or something like that. Anyway, they're here. So the white girl comes by us. She's been knowing me all those years. Oh, I'm fine. Where's the sister? I said, hell, I don't know where the sister is. What you talking about? They think, remember, everybody, if they think the Iranians, remember, I done tested them all for years. So the Iranians got to clear up their thing because they wouldn't treat me the way they was treating me according to what our relationship is. The ones back home are fine, but the ones here, they got to fix stuff up. They got to fix that up. And boss man, the white man, when I say boss man, you got to give me a JPCOA, whatever it is. Now you know we know you're gonna lie, but that's what we want. That way we get 2-3 months, at least we can run around. Because we got to fix the world. And even the white man, some of them is right in on this. They're doing what we call the other day, remember, involuntary compliance. They're complying with a lot of stuff, but it's involuntary. Involuntary because they don't. This stuff, look, just look around with what's been happening. This thing is unreasonable. It's mega polices on me. Mega police. And I know little team of 5 or 10. No. It's like, okay, so yeah, I tease them, yeah, I have fun, but they've discovered a lot of stuff. This nigga does this nigga does that, and this is dangerous for us. That's the way they look at it. That's why it ain't no like old handful of white folks. No, sir. I'm sorry. I already know that. I know it, and I don't care if everybody else know it. But I know it because the first thing you got to do, if you're going through this period of isolation, you have to be redundant, right? Or you become a dictator. In other words, I know what's going on. I'm all right all the time, and I'm going to do this. You know, like Fidel, a nice guy, but he just, he wanted to do everything himself because, right? But so this movement, you have to avoid that. No, I ain't doing no Fidel. No, sir. But what can I do then? I have to go over this stuff 10 times, 15, 20 times. I have to run this test not once. Once test ain't going to do it. No. We have to go over this over and over and over again. Number one, it's going to show everybody what's going on, right? Like, look what we've done over these years. Everybody, how many times we haven't strayed from these subjects, just like what we said at the beginning. We're going to make 5 or 6 subjects, and that's it, right? And that's all we. But what do anybody that play like they don't know what's going on in our community is playing around. And the other thing is, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Right? Where is everybody? Where's everybody that was here? Where's everybody that was in Oakland? I didn't bring all the pictures. But you remember all the people in Oakland. Where are they at? Where did you go? Where's the UCLA crew? Where's the headquarters crew? Where's our masjid in San Diego? Where's our masjid in Sacramento? Where? Where are all those people? Why nobody said nothing about none of this? No, they don't say that. Right. For what reason? Did I steal their girlfriend? Did I try to hang them? What did I do? Right? I mean, I'm not asking a question, but I would. If it was normalcy, like just a normal, we're not normal here. We're not, I'm not saying that for like, yeah, I'm a tough, I ain't saying nothing like that. This, what we're doing is not normal. Finished. Okay. No, that's what you hey, I've been at terms with this evidently for a long time. To become content, imagine you get to do it. You don't got to do it, but you're content with all of this stuff happening. And this is just chit chat. This is nothing. I can't even, if I go into the minute details and how often it happened, look outside. There's cars there that won't run. The little car driving here and it gets here and it stops right there. Where's that, right? And they done charged me $400 and something. Well, I just took the guy to the thing we did a month or so ago. I just took it to him maybe the other day. I'll have a few people call him. What you gonna do? But I ain't gonna waste no whole lot of time. The roof. Anybody went on the roof knew that somebody punched holes in the roof. They just punch holes in the roof. They punch holes in the roof. We call the plumber come out, and pitter-pattered around. Well, we can do it. We can fit $250. Fine. Well, we might need this thing. I said, hold it. I said, how much you need? $250. I said, I gave y'all 100 already, right? Yeah. I said, now here's, what does that make? That's it, that's fine. I said, no. Here's another $100. Because I'm going to do a program with y'all. So y'all can go on and do whatever you want to do. You can fix it, you can leave it alone. But the water down there is the same thing. People will leave a little pinprick, and you can't turn that water on, or it'll just go. They don't come back and fix it, they just leave it. I said, fine, it's okay. The stuff, I had me something here. Where's some of it? I got a bill, must have been the one I paid a while back. That was serious. Well, forget it. It was $3,050. They said, your stuff up there, you know how serious I am about the yards and stuff. I'd be on that right away. They said, oh, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. So everything doubled and quadrupled up, and that'll be $3,050. That was a few years back. But they come up with stuff like that all the time. You have to have some specialness going along to do this, or to want to do it, or to find beauty in it. Well, it ain't nothing but beauty. When you look at what's happening to everybody else, this is super easy. It's a joke. Because all you got to do, you know, I think you might remember this open letter to the DC police. Yeah. The thing is to realize what your job is. This is the thing, $3,000 something. The point is, boss man, you know, this is the Johannesburg airport roster for September the 8th or something, one of them days. What it is it says, do not board Reims, you know. In other words, I can't get on September the 4th. So I can't get on the plane. So you can go to the embassy. No, he said the consulate. No, he said the embassy. When I went to the embassy, there was a big fat guy just coming out the door. Can we help you? I said, oh, well, I come now they had all them old CIA looking guys they look like CIA. They really look like, you know what I mean? Just like what you visualize, they look like that. These guys look like that. You know, the ones that are there, boy, I'm coming in. I said, yeah, I should have just told them, y'all really look the part. You know, you guys look exactly, you know, the Hollywood stuff. So anyway, they said, you can't board. So I went and I got his card, everything, Then they said, okay, we got it fixed. So I went back 2 days later. They said, well, we can't board you. So I just told the guy, I said, you keeping an American citizen from re-entering the country? We're not saying you can't re-enter the country. We're saying you can't get on that plane. So I told the guy next to me, I said, okay, get me a ticket. Get me a ticket, and I'm loud talking. Get me a ticket, Johannesburg, Rio de Janeiro, Mexico City, Tijuana, Mexico, and I'll walk across the border. And then the guy, his phone rang. We might be able to do it. See, I used to sell dope. And I took trips all over the world. And one of the trips that I made was from Colombia I just got, well, after I got from Mexico, I was in Colombia a while. I got Colombia, Rio de Janeiro, South Africa. And I remembered it well, because at that time, blacks couldn't leave from America, couldn't go into South Africa. They had Congressman Diggs, but in the old days, we couldn't go, because we were rebel rousers. We would get their people all riled up, talking about civil rights and nigger rights and stuff like that. No, I stayed in the airport. Yeah, you know. Anyway, and then they wrote it on, this is the roster. If I want all employees, their names, what their shift was. That's what it is. So I can get all them as witnesses. Just like all of this stuff, I have witnesses for it. I have all of my arrest records. I've gotten most of the interviews and the statements, and you know, the body cams and all that. What I'm telling them on the body camera, I have $10,000 in there on the desk. I'd just like to go back and get it. No, they're driving on. Actually, it was 11,000 because I had another 1,000 extra that was outside of that package that I was paying off everything with. I have them. You remember the carton, the mail carton of had 3 sections. Each one of them was a whole section of my case. This had all the stuff other. So I was going to take those. One go to this attorney, one go to that attorney, and I keep one for myself. And just to make sure that they had a feeling that that was important, whenever I left the masjid, I took it with me. And the other bag had a whole nother set to carry bag. So actually I had 4 sets. So anyway, when I got arrested, they kept it and they gave it to Mukhtar. They said, Mukhtar said it's just a lie. But everything they say is a lie. All of that is recorded. All of that is recorded. We had to have a case where people could look at a person or a group and they could see their whole future unfold. See, we haven't accidentally done this. This is all according to a plan. From way back, the closer it gets to now, the more detailed the plan gets. You know what I mean? Like when I came here, I don't know if I ever told y'all, I came here because I said, if I go to D.C., I'm going to get all the game. They're going to throw everything. Now, in Oakland, we had the game. They wasn't missing nothing. But in D.C., they done added a few extras because of time, place, and circumstance. So right now, the reason that this is serious is because the time. You know where you get a feeling about the time? I don't know about y'all, but I have a feeling about the period we're living in. This is whatever it is, it's getting close. You know what I mean? And before we delayed, we stalled, and we're still doing some of that. But there is quantum leaps necessary, we believe, for this period of time. This is what we feel that is good for the earth, it's good for the society, and it's good for the people. But we want the people to know that you don't have to be afraid of these people, because we didn't hypnotize the system. The system is doing what we want it to do. When they call and act stupid or whatever they do, that's what we want them to do. We don't tell them, stop. It's not true. Well, it's fine. Anything else? What else can we do for you? You know, or when we want to talk, I'll answer. If I don't feel like that I'm working on something, I won't answer the phone because I don't want to be disturbed. I got my mind focused on that. But when I get free time, just give me a call and I'll, hey, you need to go to hell. You're going to burn in the hellfire. You're this and you're that. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We make the system behave as we desire. All of it, all of our brothers. Look, believe it or not, whether it's our brothers from Iran, whether it's our sisters that they, Hashimi, you know what I mean? Okay, it's good to clear up that stuff now. Remember, the way I visualize them, first of all, there's different groups. The ones that went back home and I could see them, they just like things, they appreciate everything, they're good people. These guys here now, in the daftar and around, something is wrong with them. I don't know whether they're Savakis, I don't know, because their behavior is not proper. Okay? They're going to have to clear up their behavior. They're going to have to clear up their behavior. I mean, you know, they're going to have to clear it up. Okay, the other stuff about what my children do, I don't blame them for nothing. I want them to do what they're doing. But I'm going to explain it to everybody. And nobody can, some kind of way, make you feel like this is not the right thing. It's exactly the right thing to do. They're the ones that's ruining their life. Who would tell their children, oh, don't go down there and pray anymore? And I done set up the book table, whatever's there, you know, first Sakina, then Fatima could come. Imagine, you done fixed the table for them, you done did the whole thing. All you got to do is stand there and take money. And they're going to make $75 or $100, something like $89 each time. And they can take that money and fly off, whatever they want to do. Of course, they save it. That's good. Well, they did save it. What I'm saying is, who would tell their children, you got technically it's a restaurant, I'm going to fix whatever. Y'all remember the joint right across there? It was stocked with food. We went and bought them freezers, but we was going to have them other, you know, like sliding doors with the milk, eggs, but the standard stuff that everybody needs some. Eggs, butter, stuff like that. Okay. And they'd like to play with their phones. They could take their phone or their computer and they sit in there. They can stay in there all day. They could have different shifts. They could do what they want. On the weekends, I'm going to cook a food for you. The same thing that we can't wait to eat all the time, right? Who would tell their children to stop doing that unless something is wrong? It ain't something wrong with me. It's something wrong with them, right? But it ain't bad. Why it's not bad? Because if you know who they are the day you see them, in 1987, when Abdul Malik brought them, and Abdul Malik, right now, if somebody called you, that was the result. Abdul Malik calls first. Abdul Malik calls first. And then Sister Bahia used to be cruising along, everything's fine, and then they need a pep talk or something, and they gotta go. So I just tease them a while. I wouldn't say, no, what did I know what you need? You need a pep talk. So they need to get away, and either they thinking what they're doing is wrong, and Abdul Malik got to convince them you're doing the right thing, and da-da-da-da-da. And they're not trying to do nothing. What they said to you yesterday, that was just saying something. They had it was no meaning in it, because, you know, I know what they're doing. I've been with them all the time, you know. And the other thing is, about divorce. I live downstairs. There is no Negro in the United States that I have ever seen that have divorced a woman and gave her a stack of $100 bills for herself. You ever seen it? Does the niggas give it to girls or anything? When they get a divorce? Nothing? Nothing! Nothing. They don't give them a... Look, they lucky they just say divorce. Them niggas is gone. All of them. Every time. All the time. They never say, well, sister, now, here's a stack of hundreds, it's fine. Well, if she keep them or give them away, that's her business. But eventually, you know, that staying together type thing for the children's benefit, you know, that seems like home life. That's coming from me, that's not coming from them. And nobody would stay with nobody when they doing that dumb stuff like that. They wouldn't stay with them. But we wouldn't be where we are without them. We wouldn't be where we are without them. Okay, I'm gonna move toward a close. We got a big, big mission. Every day is clarifying, you know, where we coming from. I'm saying that we just go down here and it don't look like nothing, but it does look like something. Why, you know, the people, they're not even talking to us. Nobody in the news, nobody in the media, nobody nowhere talks to us about nothing. And we have been here longer and steadier and have a deep knowledge of everybody, right? So they'll go talk to some nice guy, a lady, about civil rights movement. They don't know nothing about the civil rights movement. They read a book, or they wrote a book. You know, a friend of mine, As-Sabiqun, was telling me this stuff about the government introducing drugs into the community. He said, that didn't really happen. I did my research. I said, shit, this nigga's crazy. You did your research as if the government is going to say, and leave it down at the Martin Luther King Library, a whole stack of stuff to say, this is what we did. We sell them niggas dope. He said, and then on terrorism, I have visited the courts and many, you should see what they have on those people. I said, those people are set up.
Then you'll see him on a panel giving a talk on the subject.
Yes.
He's an authority.
Authority. Everybody's an authority. I'm not sad or nothing. And I'm not going to just beat on the door and say, you know, if y'all talking about black or something like that, not only am I black, but I actually know a lot of them. I actually know the ones. And I know if Angela Davis was here, Angela Davis used to run on the same trail that we did. Her and her little friends, her little white friends. Anyway.
Because I was thinking about this when I heard it. The guy from, he's always on Sputnik, Bill Ayers.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? The one, he's the teacher, but he was part of the Weather Underground.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
always have him, and he's always speaking as if he has this love for us. Like he's the authority on the black movement.
Yeah.
Has the authority on the black movement. They never had anybody from that period
Yeah.
that's black to speak to that. It's him, or they bring up, Anthony Davis.
What about everybody? What about everybody? Look at how many people. It just is so clear. What are all authorities on of Islam? They're up in New York, they're here, they're there, they're the people all, and they don't know nothing about Islam. And they definitely have not been correct on no analysis. To tell the truth, I mean, they are so far from, like you were saying a few weeks ago, well, we don't want to say we told you so, right? It's ridiculous. But you have to hold yourself, look, we told you this 15 years ago. And then it was old when we told you. We waited 5 years because we felt sorry for you to tell you this stuff. And they don't do no repenting. This is one thing that I noticed. Abdul Malik them, they don't do no repenting. And I'm telling them, just repent. Not to me, just repent and do right. Like I was telling them, look, man, look at all of those people. What are they doing? After they leave certain things, the brothers who was here, what did they do? Where did they go? What the heck? What did they do if they, right? I mean, nobody can stop you from doing nothing, right? So if you have a bone to pick with here, go do what we was doing or better somewhere else, right? They don't do nothing like that. And the ones that do leave and do something, they get a job with the people that you know they hate you, I care. Care. Boy, I'm telling you. So anyway, I move toward a close with this. We are in a good time. We done participated in arranging this environment that we really have, okay? The government has a dilemma, and the people have a dilemma. They really have a dilemma. Just look at their side for a minute. We have told them that we're going to historicize, we're going to archive, chronicleize, documentalize, and we do it. We had been doing it all along, but now we're going to be specific. And then we're going to develop tactics and strategies that will help you understand the environment that we're living in better and help you understand yourself better. So we've always engaged the system. We've engaged the system in a way that they should come to the conclusion that these people have some idea about what's going on, and we don't. We don't, because we're just not right. We're not, and just off the cuff, if we tell them, this is not arrogance, it's just, we say it all the time. It's all that, yeah, old Don, somebody hired Don, right, to do such and such, to mess up the white folks. They hired him to do that, but Don got out of hand. He got out of hand with them. I mean, nobody, when they hired him, they didn't say, we're going to hire you to do this. But they know this boy is a classical idiot. Therefore, if we give him a little elevation, he'll steamroll all them Republicans. And he treated them so bad. Oh, lethargic, what's the Bush down in Jeb Bush. Oh, he called everybody. Boy, he talked about them so bad. And he must have scared them. But he sucked all the life out of them. And then he come rolling in here. Now, what we talked about yesterday is good. He blown the Hitlerianism. That ain't going to work. The militarism, he blew it. He blew it. Just like we said the other day, he's blown his whole shot. And now, they coming at him. He can't get back now. It's too late. Number one, look, when Obama was acting like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Then the security let the white folks, let somebody, a Mexican, jump the fence down there, and he got it. Was he in the elevator with a gun? I don't believe it, but that's what they told me. That's actually what was said. I don't believe you can do it, but if somebody wants somebody to jump that fence, and then you the president and you be saying, my kids, my family, they're all here. And then you looking at the people, you guys, okay. Hey, everybody, kumbaya, right? Because ain't nothing he can do, right? Now, Don and blew it with the security. Oh, look, the feds, see, all of it is not a game. So he jumped on all of them. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da, yeah, da-da-da-da-da. And they got all the stuff on him. So they just pulled the plug. The other day they said, well, you sold that the Russians, what are they saying? He can't come back from that. If he did know it, it's bad. If he didn't know it, you wasn't paying attention. Right? In other words, they pulled this thing. The general started, when the general said, hey, we not going for that. That's not our job. And they was mad. You know what I mean? Now imagine them military men. And this guy, he ain't been to Vietnam. He ain't been nowhere. And ain't nobody been treated no worse than he, you know, hey, it's just, of course he say it, but he don't. So they moved on him. They have officially just put this down. He's officially been moved on. And he can't get out of it. There's nothing he could do. And they'll pull something, they'll have it just before the election or any other time. They'll let a few things slip out. He can't do it. That's his security people. They know everything. Right? They know everything. And they know, it's simple. We've been telling you this and telling you that. They might have not even put it in there, but they said they did. And so half the people going to believe them. That's the biggest thing on TV right now. When did he know and what did he know and when did he know it? That same old story, right? Don is cooked. He can't come out of that. He can't come out of that. Forget about the coronavirus, whatever it is, multiplying like rabbits, right? The white folks say, you can't come over, y'all, you can't come over here. Europe gonna open up in a few days. So no, I'm the key. No Americans. We don't want y'all over here. Hey, we're doing fine. Huh? Look at the world. Now, you got to think about what we got. How? Good God Almighty. Hey, this guy, tell the truth, if you would have thought some years ago this is the way it was going to be, you couldn't figure out how it was going to get that way, though, right? We made dua, but not for a catastrophe or, you know what I mean? But we got word for word, oh Allah, make clowns out of them, had the world laughing at these boys. Look, okay, so I'm saving my duas because they've been working very well. No, I'm telling you. I asked for a dua for the kid. Now I know you can't ask Allah. This is silly, like I'm going to save my duas because I don't want to be a bother to it. You can't do that, but in a way I do it. I just ask for a few things, then I get them. Hey, that's fine for me. Fine. I know that you could just give everybody 7 heavens and earths and it wouldn't affect nothing, right? But so far, so good. I ask, oh Allah, help my kids get old enough so that at least they know what's happening. I didn't ask for them to become Muslim or stay Muslim or da-da-da-da-da. I didn't ask for that, right? It's like the, the ladies, some of them was, "Oh, I just wish I had a baby." They was praying for babies. Then they had a couple, boy, they was, I said, well, you should have prayed for self-serving babies, you know what I mean, that wipe their own self, that, you know, they cry for 30 seconds and they turn themselves off. Right? That's what you should have prayed for. You prayed for a baby, right? You didn't have no details or nothing. So next time you pray for self-serving babies and stuff like that. They don't want no more babies. Not, oh, these babies, you know. Anyway, so let me get ready to close out here. Are there any questions about anything that was said so far? Did anything make make sense or or what have you?
A lot of stuff is just, you know, you don't get it until you go through it. You know, some of the stuff like, you know, someone can talk to you, you blue in the face, but you just don't get it till, you know, you go through it. You start seeing things.
I think that's actually, we was talking about that, well, whatever we're doing, that's As-Sabiqun is our job. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to remember. And there's like pioneers and then there's settlers. Pioneers are the vanguard, are the As-Sabiqun. They're not settlers that's going to come and make a farm and all that. You have some people that are a combination of pioneers and settlers. They're going to, but most people specialize. So we're pioneers. Our job is to go out in front of everybody. We may keep on going and they may get it at a certain time. Yeah.
Like you said, you made a detailed analysis and you made a plan accordingly. You come out here for that particular reason. Now, what it seems like that nobody else has made an analysis and plan to deal with, because I mean, we have all the evidence as far
Right.
as the As-Sabiqun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Seems like, and I've talked to other people about this, that nobody, whether it's they care to make a plan or have been prepared to make a plan and a proper analysis, that's why they're not, active. I'm just asking.
I know. Okay. Remember, we are Sabiqun. Many translations. Those who go out front, those who win in the race, those who precede, their premeditative, you know, those who, Sayyid Qutb calls them, those who lead the way. Okay. Just think about it. Are we, according to the dictionary, are we doing our job? Okay. We have, what do they call it in management, areas of concern and areas of specialization or something like that. Areas where you're concerned about, but then there's areas where you're active and, or I don't forget the word they use in management, but it's like specializing. Okay, we're concerned about everything. We're definitely concerned about the issues of today because that's our historical background. But our concerns are kind of comprehensive. It takes in more than just a race issue. It takes in, it's comprehensive. Okay, it's so comprehensive that for where we are now, a whole lot of things had to work, right? They worked and we got here, we said, good God Almighty. It actually is kind of mind-boggling. Where we are now is the same as like if Moses took everybody across the sea and they saw Pharaoh spinning around in the water, right? Getting ready to go down the drain. This is that type of, where we are, it's that type of miracle. That's because our history, it touched on black people. The Islamic Revolution, right at the time when it jumped off, right at the time, and you go through with everybody that's who they are. And you get a chance to pick out over the years, this is who is, one of the guys up in Detroit. Yeah, Elahi. I mentioned him the other day. Sheikh Elahi was with Karubi. Karubi was the one, when they talk about October Surprise, he was meeting with these white folks. And then Elahi came over here in the mid-'80s. How could an Iranian? Okay, go ahead. In the mid-'80s, how could he come over here and go right to work? There's a lot of people hooked up. We want we want to do the same with those people the way we want to do with our whole experience. Okay, we want to have a minimum violence global transformation. That's really what we want to have, where we influence the direction of change, but not control anybody, not make anybody do. Okay, we might be the only ones that want that. I would say, technically, we are. No, they don't. The first of all, the Negro, they don't want to have nothing. The people you was talking to, no, they don't have a plan. They don't want no plan. And they don't want to talk to nobody to have a plan, to remind them about a plan. They don't want it. Okay?
What if plan is an
Oh,
old plan?
see, that's very important too. You could tell how we evolve. We evolve, we evolve ahead of the curve. So far, nothing has caught us off balance. So we've been with it or ahead. I believe we've been ahead of the curve. And even when something happened, we look at it, we make a light call, a mumble, but we still wait. All this stuff that's happening now, we said, yes, indeed, but we waited. Even with Don, we said, yes, somebody hired. We said the word, somebody hired that boy. But we waited. We're gonna wait and see. Okay, where we are now is we know our pattern of behavior and our pattern of correctness. You know what I mean? These next stages calls for us to move ahead with what we know. You know what I mean? So instead of going around the thing 20 times, we may have to go around just twice, just to double check, to make sure we're not jumping off the deep end, make sure we're not condemning the wrong person, make sure we're doing the best, you know what I mean? But we're just going around a couple of times, but we're not going to go around, we're not going to be redundant because we have been redundant enough to know how well, as it says, know yourself, know your enemy, 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories, right? We have done that. Another thing I was telling Sister Bahia yesterday or the day before, well, because I'm saying, no, I know what's going on. I know where I'm at. That's it, finished. Oh, so you're not arrogant? I said, absolutely not. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. I said, I have confidence. I have confidence. Arrogance means I'd be like Muhammad Ali did with Spinks, or like Buster Douglas and right with what's the name? He got arrogant. We're not arrogant because we're not taking any arrogant chances. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about because this, that, another one thing. We say instead of going around the track 10 or 20 times, we'll just double check and go around 2, 3 times, to make sure we're basically correct. Because see, we don't want to we don't want to mislead nobody either. But we don't want to be so cautious that we let them drown. You know what I'm saying? So this is we're evolving right in front of our own eyes right now. We're evolving right this minute. Okay? That's why we keep everybody in mind. Iranians. All Iranians should go give Ahmadinejad a hug. Because some of them said they hated him. You mean you hate him more than you do boss man? Just think about it. You'd rather cooperate, and that's where they look. You can see that's the way they look. Oh, I love boss man. Boss man loved me. I said, you think boss man really? That's a good kind of. When you want something so bad, you overlook everything that those people maintain that same. They're really for freedom. They're really for justice. They're really for equality. And they just need me to help them a little bit to be good. Well, that's fine. It's not real. We want a treaty with the same guy, but we want a JCPOA, whatever it is, because we know what they are, right? We don't expect nothing different. Psychological ability. We talked about this other day, and we'll move toward a close because time. Is Asr? Yeah, I mean, it's almost Maghrib time, huh? Almost? So we've been here 4 hours or something like that. Just 3. Okay. 8 o'clock. Okay. We'll wrap up in 5 minutes. Okay. And we'll do our system. In all of this, too, we have to take the human element. And the human element is like, people are human. They do what humans do. You can't stop them, right? The system has, as I said before, a psychological inability to surrender to us. They would look at it as surrender. But they're unable to do it because probably we're black and they thought we were stupid and we would laugh at them and stuff like that. Yeah, they're the ones they're the ones that need to be in St. Elizabeth, okay. This psychological manipulation, we're not here by accident. We're not here Or I could ask you, do you think we're here this is not an accident. It's been a long process of manipulation, not control. But this has given us confidence that, in not manipulation, because that the way they would use manipulation, it would be bad. But this is not, the way we're using it, it's not bad. We don't want people to manipulate them into a place where it's gonna be harmful for them. But if you manipulated people into a place that's better for them. Systems, behavioral expectations. What would we expect them to do? Are they doing what they expect? Yes. The last thing I'm going to mention is, lessons on how to make the system behave. I shouldn't have make, but how to coerce the system or direct the system to behave as desired. The system basically is behaving as desired. Unconscious compliance. The system is complying with us unconsciously. All the stuff it's doing, Khadijah calling on the phone, them making all of these mistakes in the law, they could be doing it because whatever, but it's exactly what we want them to do, because we can close our eyes and win all of these cases with no trouble. Or if we don't, we have all the paperwork. We could present this to people for years. There's no bad end in it for us. There's just no bad end. Unconscious compliance is what they're doing. It's like when I said that when police, when I grabbed their batons and everything, and I stepped back. When I stepped back off the curb, that's enough for me. I can feel myself falling back. So I'm falling back anyway. Technically I'm gonna go down because the curb was high enough that I'm gonna go down. So all I did was split my body and put my hands behind me so he could handcuff me. I'm going down anyway. And there's no sense getting shot for nothing, right? So that's conscious complying. I'm complying with what will, take care of everything. And I didn't stop them from beating. I didn't already did what I came to do. Stopped them from beating the man. Everybody's on the freeway looking at it, right? And so, okay, that's, to me, a conscious compliance. They're doing an unconscious compliance. They're doing everything that's good for our case. They're doing everything that's good for us. Imagine what we look like to everybody else. How is it that you could have a group of people that's always right? They never have done anything to anybody. Nobody helps them. Nobody talks to them. Nobody sees anything. They don't, right? They don't see none of this. They pretend, right? Okay, so that's supposed to have, or it's supposed to make you turn against the movement. The people don't like me, and I'm gonna go get me a new car and a house, something like that. Not true. We develop more love for the people because the poor people is so stretched out, right? How could they miss this? So they need more help, right? Yeah. Okay. That's the way I think and that's the way I feel. That's why when they took my 4 notebooks and accordion folder, it said on there yesterday or the day before, I said big victory. It was a big victory. That's in 1986. That's a big victory. When the wheel came off in January 87, I was going to see the chief. I remember just like yesterday. The chief is there. I'm gonna go see the chief. The chief need help, but I'm gonna go see him anyway. So I'm going. That's what I wrote on there. I'm going to see the chief. And the wheel come off. It didn't scare me. It didn't even bother me. All I did was I just had a little car, a Fiat. I think I might have got the wheel. I was kind of young then. I might have picked the damn thing up and stuck the wheel on there. And took a lug off of the other tires. You know, I took one lug off, went on, and put them on there, and off we went. Right? Off we went. Okay. So anyway, if there's no questions or comments, this unconscious compliance, because of perceived racial superiority. But I suggest extreme patience with the people, because everything is evident now. We don't have to tell the people. We don't have to tell the people nothing. We just keep doing it. This is the time to do right, and leave the door open for people who come in. If they come in, fine. If they don't, it's not going to affect us. We're going to keep moving and working. And I have a feeling that this is really not a growth period, but a developmental period. You know, that's just a feeling. So anyway, even the people that works directly against you, you know. Remember the dope busters? The dope busters. Yeah. They see what you're doing, and you know, when I come here and there was a demonstration, we went up and we demonstrated with the people, and we knew what they was doing. They was letting the system use them so they would give the mantle of drugs to somebody that don't know nothing about dope, and ignores somebody that know everything, not everything, but you know, what's reasonable, almost everything about dope, you know, and they're gonna we have to stay with that, because that's the move that they're gonna make, and they've always made it. That's why they got all them kids down there right now. They're kids. Where the hell is the Muslims? Who told all the Muslims to stay away? Could they all have just happened to stay away? Could they all just happen to, I don't know, this is what we prayed for, all the people coming out and we can mix with them? Well, if you mix with them, you would have to loan some of your historical background and some how to manage a demonstration. It would be natural. You couldn't be on the scene in large numbers, right? So if the Muslims were instructed to come out, they'd be out there in large numbers. The people couldn't burn anything and do all that, because we'd be right out there and we'd orientate the people and da-da-da-da, and we'd get somewhere, and then after that, we would spring the new worldism on them, because that's the only thing it is. That's the only thing it is. We all know what they're going to do, so let them do it. If that's it, no questions, no comments, any...
There was a comment.
Okay. Bismillah.
One of the brothers said, you know, we had mashallah, assalamu alaikum, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you the best of health and a magical tongue. Assalamu alaikum, knowing Islam, its teachings are the care to all of America's social elements. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
What did he say now, the last one?
We all need Islam, its teachings are the care to all of America's social elements.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Okay, good, good. Eventually, how many people are watching this thing now? About.
Well, we only listen to views right now, but
But I mean, in general, is it,
Usually about 100 views every video while we're streaming.
okay, while we're doing,
And then
okay.
later, like yesterday's broadcast has 243 views, now.
So automatically, when we're outside, it seems like that we get more people watching
Yeah,
all the time.
it's consistent, yeah.
Consistent, that's what I thought.
Except Juma. Juma, people tune in more.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, good, good, good. I thought that they was typing in pretty much from outside.
Yeah.
Almost whatever you do, as long as it's outside.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have nothing against the masjid or anything, but maybe they feel like it's more live and more genuine, whatever. Alhamdulillah. Okay, we could cut those off, I guess, unless that was something else.